The Federal Communications Commission is expected to ban all sales of new Huawei and ZTE telecommunication devices inside the U.S. For years, security experts and intelligence agencies have warned these Chinese-owned tech companies may be using their devices to spy on Americans. President Biden's Secure Equipment Act, signed into law last year, requires the FCC to ban equipment sales by companies that pose a, quote, unacceptable risk to national security. For more, let's bring in Gregory C. Allen. He's a senior fellow in the Strategic Technologies Program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Gregory, let's talk about the timing. Why is this ban being considered now?
Well, Huawei and ZTE were already being blocked from new installations of telecommunications in the United States by a Trump executive order in 2019. But that executive order was based upon emergency powers. And so Congress passed a law last year that made permanent this sort of a ban and required the FCC to implement those rules not later than 365 days after passage of the law. Now we are coming up on that mid-November deadline, and so the FCC is trying to get these final regulations out the door. And they will prohibit not just the new installation of Huawei and ZTE telecommunications equipment, but actually a broader set of Chinese telecommunications companies and even a Russian cybersecurity firm. So this is indeed an expansion of what has been done in the past to these two companies.
So let's focus on the Chinese companies just for a second. How would the ban impact Huawei and ZTE users in the U.S.?
The ban would not impact current Huawei and ZTE users because the ban is focused on the new installation of equipment. So it actually specifically states that it will not retroactively apply to that telecommunications which has already been enacted. However, Congress passed an earlier law which sought to reimburse small telecommunication providers who had installed Huawei or ZTE telecommunications equipment and reimburse them as they replaced Huawei and ZTE equipment from their telecommunications infrastructure. However, that bill only appropriated $1.9 billion to fund the replacement of these Chinese companies' equipment, and so far applications for the funding total nearly $5 billion. So there's not quite enough money to go around to replace all the Huawei equipment in the United States infrastructure. However, this law makes clear that there won't be any new installations.
Some reporting suggests there is a significant national security risk with popular Chinese-owned social media apps like TikTok over the issue of data harvesting. Could we see restrictions on apps like TikTok in the future?
Yes, that is within the realm of the possible and is being considered and has been considered by both the Trump administration and the Biden administration at various levels. That would not be included in this rule. The current FCC maintains a list of companies whose equipment and services is identified as a threat to national security. They've updated that list multiple times just in the past year, and TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is not on that list. However, a separate series of government actions are going on related to ByteDance, and it's expected to result into an agreement between ByteDance, the parent company of TikTok, and the federal government that would put restrictions on how the data for their U.S. user base is maintained. The key provisions would include keeping that data on U.S. soil and making sure that it was overseen by a council of technology experts who are U.S. citizens. These are the types of controls that are designed to make sure that TikTok users in the United States don't have their data sent back to China.
I just want to drill down on that a little bit further. So the risk here for U.S. users of TikTok is that their data is harvested and it ends up in China, maybe even used to sort of develop profiles of them as users.
Correct. And the realm of the possible here, as examined by the U.S. intelligence community, is incredibly broad. It could include relatively innocuous use cases, such as targeted advertising, similar to what U.S. social media companies do, or it could include something much more extensive, such as perhaps trying to find compromising information of individuals and using that as part of a blackmail campaign. Now, there are no documented instances of such types of behavior by TikTok or its parent company, but these are the types of scenarios that are being considered by the U.S. national security community and why these restrictions are being put in place.
Gregory C. Allen, thank you.
Thank you.